This year's murder count now tied with the record at 127. Bahamar CEO calls the receivership disastrous. The ammunition trial of a former F&M senator underway. Renew Bahamas in their fight to stop fires at the city dump. Plus, doctors deployed to the Family Islands in the wake of Hurricane Joaquin. We've got those stories and more tonight. I'm Kyle Joaquin, and NB12 starts right now. Welcome once again to NB12. With nearly 2 months left in the year, the Bahamas' murder count has already hit 127, matching the murder record set back in 2011. This staggering statistic was recorded today after a man was shot and killed early this morning, and a shooting victim gunned down last week died in hospital. The country is now on pace to set a new murder record this year. Vonik Toot reports.
127 people have been murdered so far this year in the Bahamas, tying with the murder record set back in 2011. Head of the Central Detective Unit, Chief Superintendent Paul Roll, says a man shot on Hay Street last week died in hospital at 3 this morning. Just 1 hour before that, a man was shot and killed on St. Albans Drive. At around 2 this morning, Roll says police officers shut down a nightclub on West Bay Street. Up to 30 men reportedly left the club and headed onto St. Albans Drive.
Officers reported hearing sounds of gunshots. They went to investigate and observe some of these same males running in different directions and vehicles speeding off. Further check, they discovered a male lying in the street, suffering from multiple gunshot injuries to the body.
The victim was pronounced dead on the scene. About an hour later, the CDU chief says a 23-year-old man who was gunned down during a double shooting on Hay Street last week died in hospital.
We received information that 23-year-old Kevin Simmons of Strawn's Corner, who was shot at Hay Street last Sunday on the 25th of October, died at ICU this morning around 3 a.m. Okay, and so that investigation now has been moved into homicide.
It's the third murder reported in less than 48 hours and the 127th murder for the year, hitting the murder record set under the Ingram administration in 2011. Roll refused to discuss the murder record but said this.
We are doing our best to keep the country safe, and I still believe that notwithstanding we have these incidents of murder, they're not random, and persons, I would say, should feel free to move about their normal commute. What is always a concern is when we have a certain element or elements within the society that just refuse to abide by societal norms.
Minister of State for National Security Keith Bell asserted last week that the Ingram administration's inaction towards gangs is to blame for the high level of crime occurring today, adding more criminal gangs developed between 2007 and 2012 under the F&M than at any other point in the country's history. The CDU chief chose not to comment on that. However, we asked if gang-related crimes are a concern.
Gang-related crime is always a concern. What is more concerned is the issue with these persons, with these turf wars trying to sell drugs. You put the pressure in one area and they simply move to another area. So we just have to keep up the pressure on them. And you see this morning we have persons being charged for drugs, and people are going to court every day for drugs, which is telling you that there is something taking place
The CDU chief assured the public that police will do everything in their power to bring killers to justice and keep the country safe. Reporting from the Central Detective Unit for NB12, I'm Vonique Tude.
Bahamar CEO Sarkis Ismaili charged today that Bahamar in a receivership is disastrous and diminishes any hope of the troubled resort becoming a reality. Ismaili said in a statement, "I, along with thousands of Bahamians, have worked very hard to make Bahamar a reality. The facts are straightforward. China Construction America failed to meet its promises to complete the resort on the timetables it set." The developer also asserted that CCA failed to meet its financial obligations to Bahamar, engaging in reckless and self-serving actions at the expense of the project, as it seems now to be doing as well as the Point in downtown Nassau. Ismaili also insisted that the government of the Bahamas failed to meet its promises to Bahamar, including making timely payments of monies it was obligated to pay Bahamar. The result, he said, was a liquidity crunch last June that put Bahamar at risk. He said to mitigate that risk, the board of Bahamar determined that the proper and only truly viable course was for Bahamar to voluntarily file for Chapter 11 under U.S. law, a reorganization option that does not exist in the Bahamas, as the provisional liquidation has now proven. Last week, Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder approved an application from the Export-Import Bank of China, Bahamar's secured creditor, to send Bahamar into receivership. The order paved the way for the appointment of 3 professionals from Deloitte & Touche, including Bahamian partner Raymond Winder and two partners from its Beijing office as receivers.